podcast. I'm your host, Eric Patterson. Alongside me is my sister, Erin. Join us as we explore the amazing, mysterious aspects of our planet's cultures, history, and future trends. Hey, hey.
What's up?
Just trying to stay awake after my lunch.
Yes, I saw you had some tacos.
Yeah, they're some good tacos.
Yeah.
Great local taco joint. There's nothing like a local taco joint.
There isn't, and there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
But that's one of the best.
Yeah, it is. It's they just do it right.
Yep.
Tortillas made in front of you. All that good stuff. I
think it's a lot about the tortillas for me. Mm-hmm. It changes the taco.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I completely agree. What you been up to?
I have, just been on the grind.
On that last semester of college grind.
Yes, that's all I can really say.
Yeah,
I've been seeing a lot of music. Obviously, Nashville. I've had the chance to do that, so that's been fun.
Very true.
Well, I do have responsibilities in the morning. It's not like, I can't go see music somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's been fun. Other than that, I've just been dying waiting to do this podcast because it's been way too long.
It's been too long. I don't even know why we haven't done one. It was just like the new year, and then I got caught up in getting back to soccer practice, coaching, and it just...
Getting back into school for me.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
It's just been hard to schedule, but we're here now.
We are here.
And we're going to make it more regular.
So, yeah, I mean, we were doing one every week.
Yeah, we were.
So we were up after October, so... if you listened on Spotify, you might not have seen one. Spotify, I guess, is like super particular on the audio files, so it has to be MP3. Can't be like MP4 or some other audio file. Which I guess if you're doing music, that's their platform.
Right.
But if you haven't seen one on Spotify in a while, it's not because we haven't done one. It's just because they weren't uploading to Spotify because they weren't MP3 files. But now I know that, and they should be on Spotify.
Cool.
So, yep. And that's all I got. Today we are... When I said that's all I got, I should have just ended the podcast. That's it. We're done.
And I see ya.
We're gonna... So I was listening to a random episode of one of my favorite podcasts from a month or so back, and they did some stories on spontaneous invisibility, which are stories where people are just like going through life, and I don't know what happens, but they say that they turn invisible, and like people aren't responding to their communications or even just them like being there.
Wow. So
we got a few of those, and then I believe we do teleportation as well. Mm-hmm. Was the other story. So I guess we'll hop into it. So we're gonna do the teleportation story, or I'm sorry, the invisibility stuff first, and then we'll hop into the teleportation stuff. So this first few stories come from lightforcenetwork.com. And
the only network I want to be.
The only network.
Reading.
Well, I mean, Society for Enlightenment, I think a lot of us need that these days.
Yes.
We need to be enlightened.
Yes, I agree.
So,
you can also create an account, it seems, so.
Might have to.
I know, honestly.
But yeah, they got they got some good stuff on this website. So if you're interested, check it out, lightforcenetwork.com. So let's see. So basically, this is a write-up, and I'll just go through some of the stories in here. So basically talking about how in the summer of 1994, I'm trying to remember who's writing this. I guess Donna Higby is writing this, and in the summer of 1994, she says, I became aware of a very strange phenomena, human spontaneous involuntary invisibility, that was happening to people in the U.S. specifically, but it does happen all around the world. So she talks about this woman, Vera, from Ventura, California, who tried to get assistance in a post office, only to be completely ignored by other customers.
I mean, it sounds about right.
If you've ever been in a post office, that sounds like a normal experience. But apparently Vera was like adamant that no one was even responding to her being there.
Right.
She talks about Sheila in Roanoke, Texas, that these invisibility experiences occurred in restaurants and at the airport. Glinda in Fort Worth, Texas, had an experience that occurred in a cafeteria and a movie theater. And there apparently are cases in England, Australia, Puerto Rico, Brazil. One story in particular, John in Tucson, Arizona, says the following is a quote from her letter, and she says, I've had this happen in stores and restaurants and many places. I remember joking to a friend of mine one time that I felt like I could walk into a bank, help myself to a pile of bills, and no one would ever see me because I was invisible.
Wow.
Bit risky, I will say, but if you are truly invisible, then I guess it would work.
True, but do these people just, like, reform, like, physically? Randomly?
Yeah, so there's I think there's another one towards the end of this write-up that... Yes, you'll see very soon that they just it's like it happens, and then they're back. So, but yeah, help herself to a pile of cash, and no one would ever see her because she's invisible. She says she's taller than than the average for her sex and age group. She's 5'9", so I mean for a regular woman that's decently tall, and she's got red hair. And apparently she was wearing high heels and a purple dress.
Oh, and dangle earrings.
Yes. Dangle earrings.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is the story I was talking about. So this is a man named Peter from Gloucester, England. He was at a party in 1987. He walked upstairs to use the bathroom, and there was a woman behind him who was headed the same way. The woman motioned for him to go first, and she stood outside the door to wait her turn. And so Peter was using the bathroom, opened the door, walked out into the hallway, shut the door behind him, as a gentleman does. He went on down the stairs, walked to some friends, and started talking to them. They all just ignored his presence, and he thought they were playing a joke on him, so he walked away and found his girlfriend and asked her for a cigarette. She, too, acted like he didn't exist. And so by this time, you'd be like, what the hell's happening? Like, this is ridiculous. So he was very aggravated, and he walked back upstairs and basically back to the bathroom, and he came across the girl standing out the bathroom door, clearly waiting for him to come out. And when she saw him, her face dropped in surprise because she had not seen him leave the bathroom.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
like the door didn't open or anything?
Apparently. Yeah. It's like he was almost like in another place. Mm-hmm. And then he came back.
That's freaky.
That's the thing.
So he reappeared. Like, because then she saw him when he came back.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be interested to know how much of it is, are they invisible or are they slipping into
a different place?
Because we've done stories on here before about time slips where people see things that are out of time or out of Yeah, I
like
guess
from a different.
Yeah, from a different time or a different dimension, however you want to play that. And that's the story. The woman just didn't see him come out of the bathroom. So
Wow.
I've heard this one before, and this is pretty funny. So
Okay.
the story of Melanie in Ventura, California. She became invisible while sitting on her own living room sofa and staring at the wall. Her husband was walking around the house looking for her, but he couldn't see her because
No.
she had gone invisible while sitting on her couch.
10 minutes?
Yeah, this whole episode lasted about 10 minutes, and suddenly she was visible again.
He does not believe her.
Yeah, I know.
It says.
So it's interesting that she says she was staring at the wall, because there are ideas and tales that talk about like Indian gurus, or like very I don't want to say holy, but like very enlightened people who are able to put themselves in trances and almost dematerialize.
Oh, yes. I have heard of that.
Yeah. And there are also stories of apparently people who can like shut their body down and stop their aging process, to where, I just heard these stories the other day, to where they can be buried for like 100 years and then get dug up out of the ground and like come back to life.
Okay. Well, I might like to know how that works.
Yeah, we'll save that for later.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll hit this last one right here, and then we'll discuss possible theories, even though I have mentioned a couple.
Yeah.
So this is Janice in Minnesota. She has had a number of experiences where she's turned invisible. As a teenager, she fell in with a group of friends who decided to see if they could actually steal something from a department store. Classic.
You know.
As luck would have it, the entire group was caught and taken into custody. They were all questioned, and although Janice was standing right there, no one paid attention to her, not even the police or people in the office. She finally just got up and walked out of the police station without ever being questioned. And her friends did not even recall her being taken into custody at the department store, but she recalls riding in the police car with everyone else.
What?
Yeah. So, right, you think police, right, they're not just going to let someone walk out of the station.
Right.
Like, I know some police are a bit, like...
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at. But, well, I mean, anyone walking out of a police station...
Especially if you're brought in with, like, a group of people.
Yeah, and you're being questioned, like, they don't just let you go. So, that's strange.
That is.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about that one.
I definitely feel like that. I mean, that's somewhere where they would for sure have it on camera. Well, depending on what.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But that's what I'd be interested in.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
And it's like they're there the whole time, because they're remembering everything, and they're like, why is no one like seeing me? So it's not like they like transport to a different location. Do you know what I mean?
That is true. They're fully conscious during the experience, which, I don't know, makes me think that they're like, that somehow it's like their consciousness slips somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. But physically dematerializing, it would have to be more than just your consciousness, because, right, there's like your consciousness and then the physical body.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's strange. And then she goes into stuff about the Indian history and like the Vedas, which form the basics of Hinduism. Talking about just mystical knowledge and the ability that supposedly some of these teachers had of these superpowers where they had some supernatural knowledge over their environment and their basically their body.
Well, this is kind of what you were saying about like very enlightened people. If you like, it says concentration and meditation can make the body imperceptible to other men, and a direct contact with the light of the eyes no longer existing, the body disappears.
Man.
So
make it sound easy.
Yeah, I know. If only.
If only it was
to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, wow.
Yeah, so those are pretty much all the stories. She does talk about like certain sayings we have, which I think are interesting in modern culture. We have sayings like, she looked right through me, or they acted like I wasn't even there. But like, people actually aren't there. At least from these stories, it seems like they are not physically there.
No, not at all.
It makes you wonder. Speaking of, I had this kid at my soccer practice the other day. Mm-hmm. I'm giving instructions on practice, and everyone's like standing around. Some are looking at me, some aren't. But I think that in general, they all were listening. And then this one kid just starts walking away and like looking up at the ceiling. And
were you inside?
Yeah, inside.
Okay.
He just starts like wandering away, and I was like, "Dude,
where are you going?
Where are you going, man?" He was just like off in some other. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. I don't know. It was strange. But yeah, that's it. Jump over to the teleportation stuff.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, so these stories are coming from Mysterious Universe, which favorite.
Good. Yep. Great source. Love everything they do.
Mm-hmm. And it has personalized ads.
It does have. I know.
I love that.
I wonder, what do I have? Oh, I have CBD. Classic.
I have clothing, so
nice.
It is what it is.
Nice, yeah.
They're just telling me I should buy more, I think, is what that means. But, so to start, so this report is of a 13-year-old girl named Lucy in 1865. So she had, prior to this teleportation stuff, she already had some strange powers, they said. So she had once gotten really sick and apparently used her skills as a medium to basically treat herself, but obviously she didn't know how to treat herself. So there's this thing called automatic writing, and it's like the person's hand just like knows what to write.
Yeah, it's like
to get an answer.
Yeah, it's like we've talked about it on here before. I mean, we did some stories with Kyle, mm-hmm. but it's basically like someone else is in control of your writing.
Mm-hmm. So she used that, and the treatment that was suggested, it was correct, and Lucy was no longer sick. And while she did continue to suffer some problems, the medicine she needed would just randomly like appear in her mouth, and there was no like explanation, but it kept her healthy. So things were just appearing. And then this continues on when she would like just around her would just be a really flowery, like perfumey smell all the time. And she could turn it on and off whenever she wanted. And, yeah, but she could, whenever she just wanted to smell good, she could. So, and on several occasions.
That'd be incredible.
I know.
Like,
that's like really
honestly,
cool.
If someone asked you like, oh, what superpowers do you want? Like,
that's up there.
I mean, that's going to be at the top of my list.
I know. Like at any moment, you can just smell good.
Anytime.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, just more and more about her scent, her flowery scents. But she could actually just like have flowers appear out of nowhere as well. And there's a story I guess it's like down the page a little bit, but a man comes to visit her and like flowers and stuff just fall right out of the ceiling and like land in his lap. But among all of her crazy other powers, when these flowers fell out of the ceiling, there was a set of hands that were like illuminated, and they like were just moving things around, which is like freaky, and it kind of reminds me of like the Haunted Mansion, like that movie.
Yeah,
because I feel like there's a lot of floating body parts.
There are a lot of there are a lot of floating hands or
Heads.
Disembodied.
Yes.
Yeah,
like arms.
Yeah, arms. Yep.
Yeah, that's like what came into my mind, but yeah. So they said her most impressive power though was her teleportation, because on many occasions she would just be removed from existence. And then she would return later just out of nowhere as well. But she would be carrying things from places that were super far away that she would obviously insinuate that she had to have gone somewhere wild to get these. So she would claim that while she was away, those in the places that she was at were unable to see her, although she was fully aware of everything around her and could interact with the environment for the most part. Little was known about how she did this, other than it seemed to involve unseen intelligences, and that they would later describe what they called aerial excursions. So,
sounds fun.
Did you just put your hair in a man bun?
No, it's I tried. It's pretty hefty.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. But yeah, so it says, her reappearance was instantaneous. In the twinkling of an eye, she stood before you, fresh and blooming, without any indications of exhaustion, although her absence may have been from the morning till the evening, and sometimes during heavy showers, which is...
Heavy shower, like rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I feel like the water thing is like, you know...
When you said heavy showers, I thought like she's just in the shower for a really long time.
She was gone all day just in the shower.
Yeah.
Usually, if it was summertime, she would reappear with her arms filled with flowers or fruit. And she would say that just these intelligences placed them in her hand. Like she didn't actually have to go get them. And on these excursions, she appeared to have fully retained her consciousness and powers of observation. And she was surprised that, like, why she wasn't noticed, but that she could notice everything else. Which is very similar to what we were talking about.
It basically sounds like exactly the same stories we just talked about, yeah.
But, oh, yeah, this is, like, sort of different, but it's the same girl story. But that she would... It says she spontaneously appeared at a lecture at the City Hall in Charlestown, but when these people were, like, so freaked out by this and, like, asked her how she had gotten there, she just claimed that all she knew is she'd come through the roof and that she had been whisked away and carried into the air over trees and houses. And basically, like, she was flying, but it was all blurry below her.
So, it doesn't sound like she's doing this.
No.
Sounds
it's
like there's some other outside forces.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then she was transported to a cemetery in Cambridge, and this is where she'd met her dead grandmother, and been given an oak branch, which she still carried with her when she appeared. And she also claimed to have met a mysterious girl who seemed to be the deceased daughter of one of the attendees of the lecture, a Mrs. N, and it's all very bizarre. And the guy says that it's just, like, she was just as confused as everyone else about how it was happening. Like, she obviously, like you were saying, some other, like, power is doing it. Like, she has no idea. But,
yeah, that's weird. Slightly concerning, especially, like, it could be harmful. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound like she was, at least in those stories, but...
Yeah.
Very strange.
It is. It also reminded me of those Saturday Night Live, like, alien abduction skits.
Oh,
I know we've talked about them on here before, but how
man.
she describes, like, she, like, flies through the air and then, like, comes through a ceiling.
Yeah.
Or, like, gets dropped through, like, a roof. So
Exactly.
But, yeah, that's what it reminded me of. But I think mediums in general are insane. Like, how they can, like, they have no choice as to if they can talk to dead people or not. You know what I mean? And then they just all their life have this ability to talk to dead people. Like, it's freaky.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's it's like there's some unearthly connection to the other side.
Yeah, and
it's weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, but a lot of these, there's some other people mentioned in this article and who have the power to teleport, and they're all supposedly mediums. So it's not just like a normal person who like can't speak with like dead people or like spirits. Like they're already a little different.
They are.
So
no, I mean there's something about a person that's able to do that like whatever you have a connection that regular people don't.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
This one's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah.
This guy Carlo Mirabelli from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Apparently this guy could levitate, telekinesis, but in 1926 he was about to board a train from Sao Paulo to Santos, and with some friends, and he began to walk toward the platform and then simply just vanished into thin air, fading into a foggy haze. It's written, and slowly, basically erased, like from his presence on the platform.
They witnessed him do this?
It was in the middle of the day. Just the middle of the day.
I mean, that's how I'd wanted to go.
I know, right? Mm-hmm. So these people were like, what the hell just happened? The station master comes running to them, I guess, 15 minutes after this happened, saying that Mirabelli had called the station and they spoke to him over the phone. He had transported himself from Sao Paulo to São Vicente, which is 56 miles away, near the destination of Santos. And he claimed that he had materialized there and gotten his bearings, and he realized that only 2 minutes had gone by. Meaning that it took him like
2 minutes to get 56 miles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It said, although it had all happened suddenly and against his will, he reported that he felt no particular disorientation or deep sense of confusion upon teleporting, but rather a curiosity as to how it occurred.
See, like, it doesn't seem to harm them.
Yeah.
What you were saying before.
It's like it's innate. Like, it's not, it's like effortless. They don't do it because they want to. It's just they do it because they can.
Also, side note, but it just came into my head about the first thing you were talking about the invisibility, and how, like, if you, like, basically zone out or, like, meditate. Yeah. They were saying, you know. Well, so have you heard of, what's it called? Or like nervous system. Just when I wanted to bring it up.
Yes, I have heard
Do you know
of
what I'm
the
talking?
nervous system.
Well, not the nervous system.
No. Is it a disease?
No, it's it's like a meditation technique.
No.
Nervous system massage. It's like you lay on your back, and there's this, like, someone or a recording talks you through, like, from the top of your head to your toes, like, being in touch with every single part of your body. And I did it one time, and I felt like I was levitating.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this was just so wild because it was the weirdest experience. I never want to do it again. I did not enjoy it. But some people really enjoy it, and apparently it's very, very good for you. But I was thinking, like, it kind of feels like you're not even there anymore. Like, in your head, you're like, no way I'm here. Like, you feel like someone could, like, stick something right through you. Damn. If that makes sense. But then one of my friends was like, you have to try this. And I was like, I already have it. I'm not doing it again. But
That sounds like when I had edibles a couple weeks ago.
You know, probably the same experience. Well, the person who I did this with the first time also loves edibles, so I'm sure it's a similar feeling.
I hope not, because I think I took too many. It was not pleasant. Not pleasant.
For everyone listening, that was probably the funniest story he's ever told me in my entire life. Like him describing.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
But yeah, I felt like I was levitating, so.
Hey.
And I feel like I could have possibly been invisible. I wasn't, but I can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast or listen to other podcasts like this, you know that there are unexplainable things that happen. Mm-hmm. And we just don't know so much.
Never here to explain it.
We know so little about literally everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, we don't even know. We know more about space, which
than our own planet.
You can't even live in, and we don't even know about the ocean. We know more about space than we know about the ocean. Like, that's insane.
Or just random phenomena that happen on Earth. Like, we don't even know about it.
Yeah, I mean, there are weather phenomena that we don't even know about.
Right.
Like, there are stories of people flying and have flown into, like, a storm cloud and then end up, like, 45 miles away from where they are in, like, 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't know. We just don't know. It's crazy.
It's crazy, and it just makes your mind be, like, it's such an odd thing to think about. Like, how do I even comprehend these things?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, everyone's just trying to, like, live their life and just trying to live my life. No, but, like, everyone's, you know, you like, obviously you have to have a job.
Right.
Like, unless you're you know, there are certain professions, like a priest.
Right.
Or a politician, where you don't really have to work. I'm kidding.
I mean...
No, I'm kidding. No, but, like, you know, like a priest, like, things are provided for you.
Right.
Like, because you're a servant of the church. And I assume the same things with rabbis and holy men of different faiths.
Like where you live.
Yeah, where you live. And, like, I don't know. Do priests get paid? Like, do priests have a salary? I would hope. I mean, they have to have a car, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be some.
And, like, underwear and stuff,
yeah, there's
right?
got to be some.
Okay.
But I've never thought about that.
No, I haven't either. That's a question, if anyone knows. That's a big story today.
Big story. But yeah, you know, we're just trying to, like, make money and live our lives. And then all this other weird phenomena happens. And, like, I mean, how are you supposed to make sense of it all?
Right. And, like, does it even matter to me in this short time I'm here to wonder why
people levitate and float from X to Y?
Yeah. It's like, no, it doesn't.
No. Yeah.
Unless I'm being the one being levitated. Like,
exactly. Unless it's, like, relevant to you, like, it's tough to try and solve it because there's no tangibility.
No, there isn't. Yeah. That's what a good way to put it. Like, it's not tangible to me.
No.
Because, like, I've never happened.
Yeah.
So
that's why I think that's why we like telling the stories of people from different outlets, because, like, they're fun to entertain. And do I want to know what's actually happening? Of course. Mm-hmm. But will I ever know what's actually happening? Unless it happens to me, probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
And you still might not. So.
And then, you don't even know. There are actually a lot more stories on here than I expected, so we might have to pick up. There
are a lot.
And we're going to pick up next episode.
Yeah, some of them look really good. So
yeah, they're very detailed, so I think we're going to do that. So, more teleportation next episode, but until then, any last words?
No, just tell us how a priest gets paid.
Yeah, I guess the Catholic Church has enough money, so...
But that's all I want to know by this time next week. So. Yeah,
just figure that one out, and then we'll be on our way.
Yeah, there we go.
So, yeah, that's it today. You guys can find us at World We Live In Podcast on Facebook. You can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, And yeah, World We Live In podcast, and Twitter, World We Live Pod. World We Live Pods. It's a tad different. And yeah, email us at worldweliveinpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yep. I think those are it.
Thanks for having me as always.
Always. Glad to have you. Glad we're back at it.
Same here.
And hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. And we'll talk to you later.